meeting of the Executive Committee for the McLean County Board this Tuesday, November 10th to order. First, we'll have a roll call.
Member Stolner.
Here.
Member Gordon.
Here.
Member Kaisley.
Here.
Member Erickson.
Here.
Member Schaefer.
Here.
Member Woolrab.
Here.
Member Metzger.
Yes.
Member Barnett.
You bet.
And Chairman Mac.
Roll call vote to approve the minutes.
Member Stolner.
Yes.
Member Gordon.
Yes.
Member Kaisley.
Yes, I'm here.
Member Erickson.
Yes.
Member Schaefer.
Yes.
Member Woolrab.
Yes.
Member Metzger.
Yes.
Member Barnett.
Yes.
Chairman McIntyre.
Here. Yes, I'm sorry. And we have approval of the minutes. No appearances by members of the public. Today we'll go on to item 4, departmental matters. I don't have any action items for appointments. I do have reappointments presented for you, and need a motion to approve those. Is there a motion to approve the appointment? A motion by member Gordon, second by anyone, by member Solner. Any comments or questions? If none, we'll take a roll call vote.
Member Soldner.
Yes.
Member Gordon.
Yes.
Member Kaisley.
Yes.
Member Erickson.
Yes.
Member Schaefer.
Yes.
Member Woolrab.
Yes.
Member Metzger.
Yes.
Member Barnett.
Yes.
Chairman McIntyre.
Yes, we have 9 members voting yes, 0 members voting no. Motion has carried. We'll go into item C, information technology. We have Mr. Nelson with us. Item C1 is request approval of renewal of the annual maintenance agreement with Caliber Public Safety. This is for our Aegis system. It's broken down into quarters. It's on pages 7 through 9 in your book. Is there a motion to approve? Motion by member Kaisley, second by member Woolrab. Any comments or questions about this? If not, we'll take a roll call vote.
Member Soldner.
Yes.
Member Gordon.
Yes.
Member Kaisley.
Yes.
Member Erickson.
Yes.
Member Schaefer.
Yes.
Member Woolrab.
Yes.
Member Metzger.
Yes.
Member Barnett.
Yes.
Chairman McIntyre.
Yes, 9-0 vote on that. Motion's carried. Next item is C2, request approval of maintenance contract with CTI for the Government Center Room 400 equipment. And that is for upkeep and maintenance of our AV equipment for our streaming of our meetings and committee meetings, found on pages 10 through 12 in your packet. Is there a motion to approve? Motion by member Schaefer. Is there a second? Second by member Metzger. Any comments or questions about this? If none, we'll take a roll call vote.
Member Soldner.
Yes.
Member Gordon.
Yes.
Member Kaisley.
Yes.
Member Erickson.
Yes.
Member Schaefer,
Yes.
Member Woolrab,
Yes.
Member Metzger,
Yes.
Member Barnett,
Yes.
Chairman McIntyre.
Yes. Motion passes 9-0. And we'll go on. Let me point out to you on pages 13 is our information technologies report. And also our behavioral health coordinating council report is on pages 14 to 22. Mr. Wild is with us. Any questions at all about that? If not, we'll move on to item B, our health committee report, Chairman Schaefer. Chairman Schaefer, are you with us?
Oh, sorry. I was looking at something else.
Okay.
The health committee has no items for action today, but we will have items for the board next week. Thank you. I'm sorry.
Okay, thank you. Item C is Transportation Committee, Chairman Kaisley.
We have nothing for consideration by this committee today, but we will have 3 action items to present to the board next Tuesday.
Okay, thank you, sir. Move on to the Justice Committee, Chairman Gordon.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Justice Committee brings a number of items for action this afternoon to the Executive Committee. Item D1A, request approval of an intergovernmental agreement between the state of Illinois, the Illinois Emergency Management Agency, and the County of McLean. A link to the document was provided in our Executive Committee packet, and I move that.
There's a motion by Chairman Gordon. Is there a second? Second by Member Solner. Any comments or questions? Were you already able to access the link all right? Good. Okay, we'll have a roll call vote.
Member Soldner,
Yes.
Member Gordon,
Yes.
Member Kaisley,
Yes.
Member Erickson,
Yes.
Member Schaefer,
Yes.
Member Woolrab,
Yes.
Member Metzger,
Yes.
Member Barnett,
Yes.
Chairman McIntyre.
Yes, D1A passes 9-0. I'll go back to Chairman Gordon. You have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Item D1B, request approval of an intergovernmental agreement between the state of Illinois, Illinois Emergency Management Agency, and the County of McLean for the Illinois Emergency Management Agency Nuclear Safety Grant Program. Again, a link to the document provided in our packet, and I'll move that.
There's a motion by Chairman Gordon. Is there a second? Second by Member Schaefer. Comments or questions? Discussion? If none, we'll take a roll call vote.
Member Soldner,
Yes.
Member Gordon,
Yes.
Member Kaisley,
Yes.
Member Erickson,
Yes.
Member Schaefer,
Yes.
Member Woolrab,
Yes.
Member Metzger,
Yes.
Member Barnett,
Yes.
Chairman McIntyre.
Yes, item D1B is approved 9-0. Chairman Gordon, we'll go back to you. I believe we can combine C, D, and E. They're all IGAs with our local municipalities and university, correct?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I was going to suggest that with the approval, the indulgence, the acceptance of members of the Executive Committee to consolidate items D1C, D, and E, all of which pertain to booking services, so that I will propose the following. Request approval of intergovernmental agreements between the County of McLean and the City of Bloomington, Illinois State University, and the Town of Normal for booking services, found on pages 23 through 34 in our packet, and I'll move those.
Motion by Chairman Gordon. Is there a second? Second by Member Kaisley. Without objection, we'll take a roll call vote. Any comments? Member Gordon.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just wanted to note we all have received an updated signature page on the agreement with Illinois State University. There was a mistake as far as the signature block that was caught and corrected and sent to us. It was sent to the Justice Committee for our meeting yesterday. We were aware of it as we approved it, so that it is that corrected version that is coming to you. and I just simply wanted to call your attention to it in case that was necessary. Thank
Will
you.
be coming to our full board meeting, and this will be duly noted in our minutes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Roll call vote.
Member Stollner,
Yes.
Member Gordon,
Yes.
Member Kaisley,
Yes.
Member Erickson,
Yes.
Member Schaefer,
Yes.
Member Woolrab,
Yes.
Member Metzger,
yes,
Member Barnett,
Yes.
Chairman McIntyre.
Yes, item C, D, and E then passed by our committee, and we'll move on and give you the floor again, Mr. Gordon.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Our last action item this afternoon is item D1F. Request approval of an emergency appropriation ordinance amending the McLean County fiscal year 2020 combined annual appropriation and budget ordinance for the Children's Advocacy Center 0062 budget, pages 35 through 37 in our packet, and I'll move that.
Motion by Chairman Gordon. Is there a second? Second to the motion. Second by Member Barnett. Comments or questions? I might add that this is additional grant money that's come down because of our crisis for our CAC and CASA programs both. I'll take a roll call vote.
Member Stollner,
Yes.
Member Gordon,
Yes.
Member Kaisley,
Yes.
Member Erickson,
Yes.
Member Schaefer,
Yes.
Member Woolrab,
Yes.
Member Metzger,
yes,
Member Barnett,
Yes.
Chairman McIntyre.
Yes, so item F passes 9-0. Do you have other items for us, Chairman Gordon?
No more action items, Mr. Chairman. These items just approved, plus 5 more, as indicated in our packet, will proceed to the full board meeting next Tuesday, and I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you for that report, sir. We'll go on to the Finance Committee, Chairman Solner.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Finance has 3 items today to present. First one is E1A, request approval of the fiscal year 2021 compensation plan. We're going to offer a 1% increase the 1st of January and a 1% increase in July, and I make that motion.
Motion by Chairman Solner. Is there a second? Second by Member Gordon. Comments or questions? Discussion? Not, we'll take a roll call vote.
Member Stollner,
Yes.
Member Gordon,
Yes.
Member Kaisley,
Yes.
Member Erickson,
Yes.
Member Schaefer,
Yes.
Member Woolrab,
Yes.
Member Metzger,
yes,
Member Barnett,
Yes.
Chairman McIntyre.
Yes, the vote is 9-0. Our annual compensation plan will be passed on to our full board. Back to you, Chairman Solner.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Next item is E1B, request approval of an audit engagement agreement with Clifton Larson Allen LLP, and I so move.
Motion by Chairman Solner, second by Member Metzger. Comments or questions? Any discussion? Member Kaisley.
This is the second year of this agreement, and we have one more that we will probably take up next year. Is that the way this operates?
I believe that's correct. If it's not, Ms. Rodriguez, you can respond.
Yeah, that's correct.
yes, that's correct.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Take a roll call vote.
Member Stollner,
Yes.
Member Gordon,
Yes.
Member Kaisley,
Yes.
Member Erickson,
Yes.
Member Schaefer,
Yes.
Member Woolrab,
Yes.
Member Metzger,
Yes,
Member Barnett,
Yes.
Chairman McIntyre.
Yes. Item passes 9-0. We have the floor again. Member Solner.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The last item for action is E1C, request approval of an amendment to the McLean County revised budget policy resolution establishing the budget policy for fiscal year 2021, and I so move.
Motion by Chairman Solner. Is there a second? Second by Member Barnett to establish a budget policy as revised. Any comments, questions, discussion? Now we'll take a roll call vote.
Member Soldner,
Yes.
Member Gordon,
yes,
Member Kaisley,
Yes.
Member Erickson,
yes,
Member Schaefer,
Yes.
Member Woolrab,
Yes.
Member Metzger,
Yes.
Member Barnett,
yes,
Chairman McIntyre.
Yes. Item C is passes 9-0. Any other comments or questions? Anyone? Chairman Solon, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. That's all that Finance has for the Executive Committee today. There will be some items for the full board next week, and I would be glad to answer any questions.
Thank you, sir. We'll go on to the report of the Land Use and Development Committee. Chairman Erickson.
thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Land Use and Development Committee has no items to be presented for action and no items to be presented to the board. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. We'll go on to the report of the Property Committee. Chairman Barnett.
thank you, Mr. Chairman. Property Committee brings forward 2 items for action to Executive Committee this evening. First is G1A, request approval of an emergency ordinance amending the McLean County fiscal year 2020 combined annual appropriation and budget ordinance for the Facilities Department. It's on pages 75 and 76. And
Motion by Chairman Barnett. Is there a second to the motion? Second by Member Gordon. Comments or questions or discussion? Member Kaisley.
How long has it been since we repaired this roof? I thought we repaired the roof at the same time that we repaired the dome.
that was my assumption as well. I believe there were some minor repairs done to it, but this will be a full replacement. The current roof of the museum is, I don't know that I would go as far as to say failing, but it is in poor shape. And it's causing quite a bit of leakage down into the building that's ruining some of the plaster that's inside. So it certainly is in dire need of replacement, and this particular item is for the design services of it. But it's probably more information than you wanted from your question, Member Casey. But
Well, do we know how long that roof has been on there? Do we have a possible action against whoever roofed it last time?
I can't tell you the dates of the full roof was a repair, but it has been decades. There have been since that time minor repairs to try to stop leaking. The last one that was done was one of the corner drains. Remember, that building was designed with a drainage system with masonry as well. They tried to run one continuous pipe down one of the corner drains. It seemed to work, but there seemed to be more to it than that. And there was even leakage in this going into the plaster in the walls. And so actually the full repair needed to be done in depth in order to get us any kind of a guarantee on that roof that was needed. I hope that answers your questions. I can't tell you the exact date. The original roof repair was done for the full system. It has been a long, long time. Anyone else have anything to add? Staff-wise? Member Barnett, you have the floor.
I was going to say, I would encourage, if anyone has more in-depth questions before the actual approving the actual bid to repair the roof is on the agenda for the full board next week. If anyone has more questions and wants to take a deeper dive into this before then, I would encourage you to watch the committee meeting last Thursday. Paul Charnett from Charnett and Associates came and did a thorough presentation. the need that is at the old courthouse, and talking through their solution to repair that roof. And there were some very thoughtful questions from the committee members, and he did a great job talking through everything.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. I'll go back to you, Member Barnett. Where are we on that? We
I
have
think we have
a
a motion. and a
roll call
second,
vote
and-
on item A. Please.
Okay, sorry. Member Solner,
Yes.
Member Gordon,
yes,
Member Kaisley,
Yes,
Member Erickson,
Yes.
Member Schaefer,
Yes.
Member Woolrab,
Yes.
Member Metzger,
Yes.
Member Barnett,
Yes.
Chairman McIntyre.
Yes. Passes. You have the floor, Member Barnett.
Next item is G1B, which is request approval of the third capital improvement agreement by and between the Public Building Commission and McLean County on pages 77 through 83 of the packet.
Motion by Chairman Barnett. Is there a second? Second by Member Metzger. Are there questions or comments? If not, we'll take a roll call vote.
Member Solner,
Yes.
Member Gordon,
yes,
Member Kaisley,
yes,
Member Erickson,
Yes.
Member Schaefer,
Yes.
Member Woolrab,
Yes.
Member Metzger,
Yes.
Member Barnett,
Yes.
Chairman McIntyre.
Yes, motion passes 9-0. Back to you, Chairman Barnett.
Thank you, sir. That is all the items property has for executive tonight. We will bring 5 items to the full board for next week.
Okay, thank you. We'll move on to item H on our agenda, report of the county administrator, Ms. Rodriguez.
Thank you, Chairman. I bring forth in item H1A, request approval of critical hire requests, and those are found on page 84 of your packet.
Is there a motion to approve critical hire requests? And we'll need a motion by Chairman, or by Member Metzger, second by Member Schaefer. Any comments or questions or discussion? If none, we'll take a roll call vote.
Member Solner,
Yes.
Member Gordon,
yes,
Member Kaisley,
yes,
Member Erickson,
Yes.
Member Schaefer,
Yes.
Member Woolrab,
Yes.
Member Metzger,
Yes.
Member Barnett,
Yes.
Chairman McIntyre.
Yes, motion passes 9-0. Ms. Rodriguez?
Thank you, Chairman. I bring forth item H1B, request approval of a resolution of the McLean County Board continuing the declaration of a disaster pursuant to Section 11 of the Illinois Emergency Management Agency Act found on pages 85 and 86 of the packet.
Is there a motion to extend our declaration? Motion by Member Gordon. Is there a second? Second by Member Schaefer. Any comments or questions? If none, we'll take a roll call vote.
Member Solner,
Yes.
Member Gordon,
yes,
Member Kaisley,
yes,
Member Erickson,
Yes.
Member Schaefer,
Yes.
Member Woolrab,
Yes.
Member Metzger,
Yes.
Member Barnett,
Yes.
Chairman McIntyre.
Yes, motion carries 9-0. We'll move on to item H1C. Ms. Rodriguez?
Thank you. And in advance of me reading this action item, I will note that Ms. Tricia Malat is present and she will have a PowerPoint presentation to share with the executive committee after I read the action item and hopefully you motion and second it. So I request approval of the fiscal year 2021 recommended budget for shared sales tax municipalities budget fund 0007, including County Board Department 0001, Mental Health Program 0060, and the non-departmental 0099 Department, non-department program 0099, pages 87 through 91 of your packet.
Is there a motion to approve item H1C as presented in the packet? Motion by Chairman Schaefer, second by Member Solner. Comments or questions? Ms. Malat, welcome. We'll let you have the floor and do your presentation.
Okay, thank you. And I had emailed Craig my PowerPoint. Is it up there or do I need to?
I'm getting it. Give me just a moment.
Okay, that's fine. I just wanted to make sure I didn't.
In the packet as well, pages 87, 91.
It is fighting me. Give me just a moment.
There we go.
Okay.
Trying to get that to it.
Okay, there.
Working on it. I'm in trouble advancing. Just a moment. Don't you know? Anybody see that?
I don't know. Can everybody see this on the screen?
Okay. So this first slide is an organizational chart of the employees, both county employees and contracted partnership employees who fall under my purview. This includes both the triage center and the FUSE program. And so it includes oversight of about 25 different employees. The majority of them are county employees, though FUSE remains an interagency program, which has partnerships with Chestnut, Bridgeway, and Genoa Healthcare for our prescriber. Next slide, please. A quick overview, and I'll go into a few more details later, of our 2021 budget. Our total budget for expenses is $1,489,233. And this includes ongoing budgeting for the triage center and for the FUSE program. It includes funding allocated for a child and adolescent behavioral health services grant, our annual community behavioral health forum, which will start in 2020 but go into 2021 as a virtual forum, and includes the possibility of in-person next fall if we are at a point where that's an option. If not, we'll already have the capability to do and continue on a virtual platform. Additionally, it includes funding for continuing education seminars for local mental health professionals. One of the things identified in the mental health action plan is ensuring that our local clinicians and social service staff working within the county have adequate training and that they receive the type of continuing education that they need. This is a type of program that I have actually put together before. I have created continuing education sponsorship seminars for other organizations. And it is one area that we don't have a lot of within the county. So I had a master's level intern over the summer who did some outreach to some folks that either she has had previous connection with or to some others to just ask about some topics that are potentially lacking, if there's an interest in more local seminars. So we've done some of the initial legwork about community interest. the other piece of this is most when seminars are in person, most of them are at least an hour away, and usually a significant amount of money, which makes it either cost burdensome to agencies or to the individual. So it can be hard to continue to get that. So this is a way for us to meet some of that gap. Next slide, please. And then Craig, if you in just a moment would play the video for me. I know some of you were able to come to the open house for the triage center, but I know that there were some individuals who could not. So we put together a quick video just as a walkthrough of the space. There is no audio to the video, it's just a visual tour. But on this slide before it plays, I included a post that we received on one of our client satisfaction surveys that really resonates with what I've tried to instill in staff and how they approach clients. And the client's response on the survey was, the care I received was great, and I feel like I was treated like a human being and listened to. And in context, this particular person added in person that it was a very different experience than what they've encountered at some point in the past, and they were really happy with having come in. So. When clients do come into triage, they first press the buzzer right inside the vestibule of the south entrance to 200 West Front Street. They walk into what is our waiting room and are greeted by a visitor's aide. That visitor's aide screens for safety measures, but at present time, they're also screening for COVID-19 symptoms. We have masks for anybody who comes in and doesn't have one, but they're also doing temperature checks. They then check in with a peer. It's a lot like a medical reception window, and get some initial paperwork, which we've tried to keep to a minimum. But it gives us a little bit of insight as to what the person is presenting with and how significant of a need it may be, especially if more than one person were to come in at a time. Some of the other things that you're seeing in this are one of our specialist offices. We have a small break room that you saw, which has our copier and printer in it, but this is what we refer to as our living room, which on a national level, there is a model known as the living room model, and it is staffed in part by peers in recovery, which is part of our staffing model. And it is intended to be a comfortable space where people feel sort of at home, but we have also made sure that the furniture is not too comfortable. They can stay there for up to 23 hours. And around the 20-hour point, we do start to have conversations with them about what the next steps are. But that gives you a quick overview of what the triage center is like if you haven't been able to come see it in person. Next slide, please. Some of the other things that we did in 2020 are we created and updated the county website with all of the information about the programs that have been started, but also to start to create a resource library for information that has been put out before. So the screenshots that I have here of the website show that our past forum booklets are now available online in their entirety. So it's one of the pieces of feedback that we always got from attendees, that they appreciated the booklet being an ongoing resource. So that's now out there for anybody, whether they attended in person or not. And then in September, BHCC started a quarterly newsletter that is also found on our website, as well as was distributed on social media and to BHCC members to distribute as they saw. That will be ongoing on a quarterly basis and include other community organizations as well. Next slide, please. This one goes into more details about some of the budget changes from 2020 to 2021. Overall, our budget had a reduction of 14%. Most of, and I'll say this sort of categorically, most of our changes, whether they were an increase or a decrease, are to adjust to what we see as an ongoing expense, having moved past initial implementation expenses. So we do have an increase in the salaries and fringe lines as overall categories. That is largely because we have two position classifications that we ended up hiring internally in 2021 versus contractually originally budgeted in 2020. We have been able to structure between a mix of full-time and part-time, and that part-time we've been able to accommodate what's classified as seasonal occasional and keeping folks but usually between 16 to 18 hours per week, if not a little bit less than that, which has actually helped increase our ability to fill the positions better, which has been a really pleasant surprise, as well as add to cost savings. So those shifts then also resulted in reductions in contractual services and the mental health services line, although I will note it doesn't actually change the services provided to the community. Our supplies as a broad category encompassing all of its sublines, that total was 45%. Again, most of these changes are due to startup and one-time costs that were incurred in 2020 and that we don't anticipate to be ongoing. One of the specific line items that did increase was line item 0607.0001 for food. And that is because we did budget for food, knowing that individuals who came into triage may present with hunger as a presenting need. And that for a number of individuals, and especially if they have gone for an extended period of time without eating, not having that initial very basic human need met of hunger would also impede their ability to emotionally stabilize. So we have budgeted for that. We have also seen that there has been a slightly greater need, or that when people have that need, they go through a little bit more than we anticipated. So I have increased that line for 2021 to accommodate what we've seen. And then with services, again, as a broad category, our total is down 49%. A number of items get captured in these specific lines, including advertising, which includes advertising for the triage center, for the forum, both virtual and or in person later in 2021, if we can do that, the continuing education seminars, I want to make sure I didn't miss something that I jotted down for that. That's it for advertising. The services category also encompasses our forum expenses, which, as we're virtual, that includes, I want to make sure that I also am consistent with the line items. Our software license agreements, if we were to have an in-person forum, there then come the contractual fees with regard to space and speakers. In addition, these line items capture our EMR usage, the Child and Adolescent Services Grant, our Fuse team partnership positions, rent, utilities, and maintenance. One of the other pieces that falls into this category is that we have an agreement in partnership with PATH to have access to HMIS data for our Fuse data matching tool. And there is a cost associated with that. And so that gets captured here, as well as potential transportation or assistance for clients as needed. Are there any questions that I could answer from members of the committee?
Mr. Zollner?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I was curious whether, I know it's not been, the fuse hasn't been active for a real long time, but have you noticed any issues with parking?
What, can you clarify your question, what you mean by usage with parking?
Well, I mean, is there more, does there seem to be more cars in that lot? Are you having more problems with people finding a place to park and that type of thing?
I haven't heard that. I will say, so our staff are not allowed to park in the lot. The only exception to that is for our staff who come in of an evening and are there overnight when the business is not in use by anybody else. I will say and it's a strange time. I came in on Sunday, actually, and the parking lot was full. So I was rather surprised that on a Sunday, around 2 o'clock in the afternoon, the parking lot was rather full. But generally speaking, we haven't had any concerns from clients that they've had difficulty with parking. I personally park in the garage, and when I walk to my office in the 200 West Front Street building, I usually see a decent number of open spots. And so I haven't heard of, nor have I seen concerns with parking.
Okay, thanks.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Other questions? Member Wolrab?
Thank you, Chair. Are we also taking questions at this point on the second part of that budget, or are we doing this all together as one? The
All together as is in the packet, yes.
Yeah, okay. So then I do have couple of questions about, I was wondering, it shows that we have a line item in here for COVID-19 funding, yes, and it's showing that we're not getting any, we're not expecting any this coming year, but I would suppose we put that in there in hopes that we're going to get some. Trying to find it again. Okay.
Anyone see which line item Ms. Wolrab is referring to?
Would be helpful if Ms. Woolrad could find it herself.
Page 90.
Page 90.
Chairman, I believe I can answer this question if I may. This is Kathy.
Kathy Dreyer.
Kathy, aye. Mrs. Dreyer, go ahead.
That is money we have received from the CARES Act funding, the COVID expenses related to COVID-19 that we have submitted for reimbursement.
Which line item number are you referring to?
It's on page 90 and it's 04040021.
Okay. That is the amount that's been actually received?
Correct.
Thank you. Ms. Wolrab, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I was looking in the hard copy, so as well as the online version. We have an unappropriated fund balance amount of $3 million moving into the shared sales tax. Is that correct? And if so, I guess I'm asking, why are we moving so much when it looks like at the bottom we're going to have more revenue than expenses? Seems like it's too much to be moving in there.
I believe that is money from the fund balance to be used for the Aegis program. Can Ms. Taylor weigh in on that?
Yes, I believe we allocated those funds in anticipation of ongoing needs for our justice system upgrades that we will be completing in 2021. At this time, we are unaware of what those costs will be, but wanted to have a number in there from the unappropriated fund balance.
Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions? The motion on the floor. Any other questions? If not, we'll take a roll call vote. Thank you, Ms. Lott.
Thank you.
Member Solner,
Yes.
Member Gordon,
Yes.
Member Kaisley,
Yes.
Member Erickson,
Yes.
Member Schaefer,
Yes.
Member Woolrab,
Yes.
Member Metzger,
Yes.
Member Barnett,
Yes.
Chairman McIntyre.
Yes, motion passes 9-0, and we'll return to our agenda. Ms. Rodriguez.
Thank you, Chairman. I bring forth item H1D, request approval of the General Fund 0001, County Board Department 0001, and Legislation and Policy Program 0001 on pages 92 through 94 of your packet.
Is there a motion to approve item H1D? Motion by member Metzger. Is there a second? Second by member Barnett. Other comments or questions? Member Woolrab.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Last meeting, I believe it was, yes, that I had wondered about the proposed fund balance or the budgeted fund balance for the unappropriated, the general fund, you know, what we would anticipate having in that at the end of the year as a result of the current budget or the proposed budget. Do we have an estimate of that at this point?
I did come prepared to answer that question. The budget policy document, does say that we will present this when we bring this to the county board meeting for the full presentation of the budget. But in anticipation, I can tell you that right now, as of today, the current general fund, well, actually, let me rephrase that. As of October 31st, the general fund balance was at $10,780,117. I do know that it's a challenge each and every day. That's a moving target. It's a point in time. And so I'm not exactly sure how to provide that to the committee in its totality when it is a point in time number. We did want to follow the budget policy document as it was amended and bring forth that information at the full board when we presented the budget and we had that number. But with that said,
I guess what I'm asking is, do you have a figure that it would result as given the proposed budget that we have, not what it currently is now, although obviously it's going to depend on that. But just like in any of this information, it's always an estimate of where we're going to be come the end of next fiscal year. So do you have that figure?
Ms. Rodriguez?
Yes,
Would you mind if I answered or attempted to answer this question?
of course, go right ahead, Mrs. Dreyer.
While it's too early to give you an estimate of what the balance will be at the end of the year because it is fluid and it is a moving target, what I can tell you is that as of October 31st, we had not had to use any of the fund balance to cover expenses. And in fact, our revenues are more than our expenses by $593. So that is an increase to the fund balance, but we can't give an estimate of what it will be at the end of the year because there's too many things that come into play between now and then.
You know, so I'm asking at the end of the proposed budget year, so at the end of 2021, what you would, are we anticipated to be drawing down on that next year as a, given the sum total of what you presented?
Oh, we did budget to use it if needed, but I can't anticipate if we will need it or not until you get into the year and the actual expenses. I can say that 2019, we budgeted to use fund balance, but we didn't have to use any. So we just kind of have to see where COVID takes us and be as conservative as possible with our expenses.
Well, but we do have numbers in the budget. How can you tell us how much you expect? How much budgeted?
We budgeted to use 420,000 if needed.
Thank you so much. Okay, so
You're
that
welcome.
is a drawdown on the appropriated fund balance. Is that correct?
Yes, if we need to use it.
Thank you.
Member Solomon.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I might comment also, at Finance Committee, we learned that we should expect less from the state in PPRT, and also the fact that our investments aren't earning the interest that we had hoped also. So those are also two things we're going to have to kind of keep an eye on. I'm sure we're all aware of that, but I just thought this might be a good time to mention that.
Anyone else? Good time. Member Metzger?
I just wanted Member Woolrab on page 92, the third from the bottom, and it would be a miscellaneous account 400.000 is actually the unappropriated fund balance that is on the, so if you just go up from the bottom of the page, up 3 lines, you'll see that $420,262. Yes.
Anyone else? Member Casely.
I was wondering if the counties, not just our county, but counties as a whole, are concerned about whether the Department of Revenue is collecting all of the use taxes from sales by interstate sales from sellers outside of the state of Illinois to residents of Illinois. And if we know what the compliance is, I just ordered some merchandise from a seller outside of the state of Illinois, and I didn't think that they got the full, they collected the full tax that they should have been collecting. And I'm concerned that we're not getting the full load of the taxes that should be collected.
I cannot speak for the state of Illinois and what they're doing with that. I know there was a change made. I don't know if there was an agreement for a different rate from out of state or not. I felt like at the time, anything we were getting was better than what we were getting before, which was nothing. So
that's true.
Whatever use tax we were getting is a positive for now, but I can't answer that. Is anybody here able to answer whether or not they know whether the full tax is being paid and what the state is planning to do with that? Okay, thank you, sir. Judge, I don't think we have an answer for you right now. Maybe we can ask our representatives for that. Member Woolrab.
Yeah, so to go back to that, the comment we just had from Member Metzger about that figure, 420,262. That is not the, and hopefully it's not the figure I was asking for, because what I'm looking for is at the end of the, it should be numbers of millions of dollars. This is a different figure. So I hope, this is not, let me ask a clarification question. That's not what we expect to have left as the unappropriated fund balance at the end of the year. Is that correct?
Rab, are you asking for a percentage, like a guesstimate estimate?
I am asking as a percentage.
Is that what you're
That's the
asking for?
amount that they anticipate.
Right, or the amount is what, if we have the amount, or if we have the percentage, we're trying to aim toward 15%. I would expect we're not going to get there next year because of our unexpected expenses, but if we have an estimate of where we might be, since we didn't hit our mark last year.
Right, okay, Mrs. Dreyer?
Well,
You have anything to add?
when we built the budget, we built a budget to for revenue to cover our expenses. We didn't budget to add to the fund balance. So we'll just have to be conservative as possible and then see where the revenues and expenses end at the end of the year. There's really no way to estimate what the fund balance will be.
We do know what last year's was over 10%, is that correct? Or right at 10%?
Correct.
And the 15% is an ideal guideline. It's not a statute, not a requirement, but it's an ideal that is recommended from accounting facilities for operations in case we have zero revenue coming in. So we can continue emergency operations fund, as I understand it. Member Schaefer?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd also like to remind everybody that the graduated income tax did not pass through the state at the election last week. And there will probably be some cuts to the state budget, which then could have quite a bit of fallout on us, which we've seen in the past with not funding positions and not funding LGDF and things like that, and cutting revenues that we would get from the state. And so we're going to have to wait then too for the budget that comes out of the state to see how we are going to be negatively affected by this. So to try and figure out what a fund balance would be a year from now, I think in this situation would be extremely difficult.
Historically, we have learned to become very flexible, knowing that there's a variation in amounts that we're going to get from time to time from our state in various forms. And but we've been able to manage and still balance the budget each year. Any other comments? We still have this item on the floor for a vote. So I'll take a roll call vote for item H1D.
Mr. Sollner,
Yes.
Member Gordon,
Yes.
Member Kaisley,
Yes.
Member Erickson,
Yes.
Member Schaefer,
Yes.
Member Woolrab,
Yes.
Member Metzger,
Yes.
Member Barnett,
Yes.
Chairman McIntyre.
Yes, item H1D passes. Ms. Rodriguez, do you have anything to add at this point?
Chairman McIntyre, the only thing I have in this portion of the agenda is our report on recent employment activities on page 95. If you would have any questions, I'd be happy to answer.
Thank you. Let's move on to item I on our agenda, which is the Oversight Committee's reports for budgets. I'm going to suggest, because of our roll call voting system, that we go down the list and have each committee chairman present their recommendation for the resolution. Member Sollner, I think you can get my permission to combine the first two, executive and finance, if you would like. I'm going to ask for any comments or questions about either one. I'm going to ask you to withhold, without objection, hold your vote until we finish the recommended reports from each of our oversight committees. Is there an objection? If not, well, let's go ahead and get started with the report of Executive and Finance Vice Chairman Solder.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Okay, so we're going to look at I-1A and B together. Request approval of a recommended fiscal year 2021 departmental budgets under the oversight of the Executive Committee and also of the Finance Committee, and I so move.
There is a motion. I'll take a motion for the combined reports. Are there any comments or questions about items A and B, the Finance or Executive Committee at this time? Is there anything you'd like to note about these, Chairman Solomon?
No, I think we did a good job of trying to do, to try and make the most use out of the money that we have. I think that, as Member Schaefer said, we're going to be tested this year, but I think we're up to the task. And so, again, I think I'm relatively happy with the way they came out.
Okay, thank you. Let's go ahead to item C, report of the Justice Committee. Chairman Gordon.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just a quick procedural question. Did we get a second to Member Solder's motion?
I didn't take the motion. I'm going to wait until the end and take a motion to approve the combined reports of all these.
Thank you, sir. Sorry. Sorry
I
if I
wanted to
misunderstood.
clarify that I would do that as long as there is an objection.
No problem.
Obviously, before in the past, as you know, better than anyone, we have gone through and taken a voice vote on all the, because of the time it takes us to go through a roll call vote. I'm just going to recommend, and this is just expediency.
Sorry that I misunderstood that.
Okay, thank you.
Misunderstood that. Item I-1C, request approval of the recommended fiscal year 2021 departmental budgets under the oversight of the Justice Committee. And I will put that forward as a motion.
Is there any comments or questions? Anyone that wanted to pull that off the agenda? If not, we'll address it along with the others. Anything that you'd like to note, Chairman Gordon?
No, Mr. Chairman, I will echo Vice Chairman Solder's observations about the budgets under the oversight of Executive and Finance. It was a pretty thorough process, and I believe the committee was pretty well satisfied with the outcome.
Okay, thank you, sir. Let's go to item D, report of the oversight of the Land Use and Development Committee. Chairman Erickson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Land Use and Development Committee brings item I-1D, request approval of the recommended fiscal year 2021 departmental budgets under the oversight of the Land Use and Development Committee, and I so move.
There's a motion. Are there any questions? Anything you'd like to note about your Land Use and Development Committee's budget at this time?
Nope.
Okay, thank you. Let's go on to item E, would be the report of the Property Committee.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Item I-1E, request approval of the recommended fiscal year 2021 departmental budgets under the oversight of the Property Committee.
Any questions? Anything you'd like to note, sir?
Just my thanks to staff for all the work they put in to bring this together.
All right, thank you. Going to item F, report of transportation. Chairman Casely.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Transportation Committee has only one department that is under our supervision and oversight, and that's the County Highway Department. It is, however, a large chunk of the county budget, and we have almost unlimited needs as far as the county highways and bridges and culverts are concerned. So we have budgeted for the things that are necessary and believe that we can live within that budget. More importantly, we have a 5-year highway improvement program, which is set forth in the capital improvement budget 5-year plan. And so far, we have been able to stay with the plan and keep current with the things that have been determined in accordance with the priority of the Highway Department and the Transportation Committee. And so I would move approval of that.
All right, thank you, sir. Any questions of Member Kaisley? Anything else that want to be noted? Okay, we'll go on to item G, report of the Health Committee. Schaefer.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I1G is to request approval of the budgets under the oversight of the Health Committee, and I would move that.
Okay, thank you. Any comments or questions of Member Schaefer of the Health Committee? Anything you'd like to note?
I'd like to note that I think that we are making progress on the nursing home, and I think that we were satisfied with that budget. And I also think that our health department budget probably will change as next year goes on, depending upon a lot of the public health issues that are involved with COVID and what kind of other funding that may come up. So I'm fully expecting the budget to be adjusted in that department next year in different points of time. So.
All right, thank you. So we have before us motions for items A through G. Let me repeat one more time. Is there any item there that any member of our executive committee would like to pull off and vote separately on? If none, let's go ahead and take a vote on it. We'll take a roll call vote for items presented I1A through G for approval.
Okay, so I just want to confirm, each person motioned and we don't need to have a second on each one of those motions?
No, we need a motion. I'm sorry. We need a motion to approve all of these at this time. Member Schaefer, is there a second? Second by Member Metzger. So we have a motion and a second to approve items I1A through G. Now we'll take a roll call vote.
Thank you very much. Member Solmer,
Yes.
Member Gordon,
Yes.
Member Kaisley,
Yes.
Member Erickson,
Yes.
Member Schaefer,
Yes.
Member Woolrab,
Yes.
Member Metzger,
Yes.
Member Barnett,
Yes.
Chairman McIntyre.
Yes, so items A1 through G is approved. Thank you for all your hard work with your committees. Again, I thought things went very smoothly this year. Thank you to our administrative staff, also for the hard work and department heads throughout our county for the work that's been done. Next item that we have is item H, request approval of the fiscal year 2021 combined annual appropriation and budget ordinance as recommended by our oversight committees, and also move. Is there a second? Second by Member Solner. Any comments or questions? It's the annual appropriation. If not, we'll take a roll call vote.
Member Solner,
Yes.
Member Gordon,
Yes.
Member Kaisley,
Yes.
Member Erickson,
Yes.
Member Schaefer,
Yes.
Member Woolrab,
Yes.
Member Metzger,
Yes.
Member Barnett,
Yes.
Chairman McIntyre.
Yes, motion passes 9-0. I might note that it is required for us to take individual votes on items H through K. Next item, I, request approval of the McLean County year 2020 tax levy ordinance. And I will so move. Is there a second? Second by Member Schaefer. Are there comments or questions about our levy? If not, we'll take a roll call vote.
Member Solner,
Yes.
Member Gordon,
Yes.
Member Kaisley,
Yes.
Member Erickson,
Yes.
Member Schaefer,
Yes.
Member Woolrab,
Yes.
Member Metzger,
Yes.
Member Barnett,
Yes.
Chairman McIntyre.
Yes, motion passes 9-0. Item J is request approval and amendment to our full-time equivalent resolution for fiscal year 2021, and I will so move. Is there a second? Second by member Metzger. Any comments or questions or discussion? Not, we'll take a roll call vote.
Member Soldner,
Yes.
member Gordon,
yes,
member Kaisley,
Yes.
member Erickson,
Yes.
member Schaefer,
Yes.
member Woolridge, member Metzger,
Yes.
member Barnett,
Yes.
Chairman McIntyre. Sorry, he gets scared with storms. Chairman
Yes.
McIntyre.
Yes.
you.
I didn't bring my dog, so I'll vote yes as well. Motion carried 9-0. The next item K is basically a plan. It is approval of the request approval of 5-year capital improvement budget as recommended by the oversight committees. This is not an expenditure that we vote on. It's approved annually. It is a plan. It has been brought before us in the past, before you in the past. I know that there will probably be a couple of corrections that are coming to this, Ms. Rodriguez, that was suggested by committee.
Yes.
I believe, Mr. Barnett, is that correct?
Yes.
That will come to the full board.
Yes.
So it's something that we have in the past taken a vote on, understanding that this is incremental. It is only a 5-year plan, and we do vote on action and expenditures a year at a time, as is planned in our annual budget. So at this time, we will take a roll call vote.
Member Soldner,
Yes.
member Gordon,
yes,
member Kaisley,
Yes.
member Erickson,
Yes.
member Schaefer.
Yes.
Member Woolrab,
yes,
member Metzger,
Yes.
member Barnett,
Yes.
Chairman McIntyre.
Yes, so our plan is approved, 9-0 vote. Again, let me just say thank you to all for your excellent work and leadership on all these committees. Putting together this budget, we'll take it forward now to our full board for our final scrutiny of it. Other business and communication at this time? Anyone? If not, I have bills submitted to me for payment that have been reviewed by our auditor and approved. We have bills for from the general fund, shared sales tax fund, Veterans Administration, and regional planning for a total of $468,469.70. Is there a motion to pay the bills? Motion by member Metzger, second by member Kaisley. We'll take a roll call vote to approve payment of the bills.
Member Soldner,
Yes.
member Gordon,
yes,
member Kaisley,
Yes.
member Erickson,
Yes.
member Schaefer,
Yes.
member Woolrab,
yes,
member Metzger,
Yes.
member Barnett,
Yes.
Chairman McIntyre.
Yes, motion to approve the bills is passed 9-0. We'll pass that on to our full board as well. I have nothing else at this time. Thank you for your participation. Stay warm and dry as the weather changes on us. We'll look forward to seeing you all next week, and this meeting's adjourned.